President Trump via illegal takedown coup attempt. President Donald Trump has finally responded to the news that he and his campaign have been exonerated from collusion charges. And he has called for an investigation into Democrats for what he called an illegal takedown of the President of the United States. No collusion, no obstruction, complete and total exoneration. Keep America great, he said on Twitter. He then spoke before boarding Air Force One. So after a long look, after a long investigation, after so many people have been so badly hurt, after not looking at the other side, where a lot of bad things, a lot of horrible things happened, a lot of very bad things happened for our country, it was just announced there was no collusion with Russia, the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, he said. There was no collusion with Russia. There was no obstruction and none whatsoever. And it was a complete and total exoneration. It's a shame our country had to go through this, he said. To be honest, it's a your president has had to go through this for before I even got elected, it began. And it began illegally. Hopefully somebody is going to look at the other side. This was an illegal takedown that failed. And hopefully somebody's going to be looking at the other side. So it's complete exoneration, no collusion, no obstruction. Thank you very much. Thank you, he said. The Mueller report has finally reached Congress, and it has been made available to the public, and it exonerates President Donald Trump. The report found no evidence of any collusion or conspiracy with Russia, and also found not enough evidence to constitute obstruction of justice. The investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities, it read. Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report on Russian meddling in the 2016 election did not find that any U.S. or Trump campaign officials knowingly conspired with Russia, according to details released on Sunday. Attorney General William Barr sent a summary of conclusions from the report to congressional leaders and the media on Sunday afternoon. Mueller concluded his investigation on Friday after nearly 2 years, turning in a report to the top U.S. law enforcement officer. U.S. Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report on Russian interference in the 2016 election did not find that President Donald Trump committed a crime, but also does not exonerate him, according to a summary of Mueller's findings released on Sunday. Mueller, who spent nearly 2 years investigating allegations that Russia meddled in the 2016 election to help Trump defeat his Democratic opponent Hillary Clinton, also found no evidence that any member of Trump's election campaign conspired with Russia during the election. While this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him. Attorney General William Barr quoted Mueller as writing in his report on the issue of possible obstruction of justice. Mueller said he would leave it to the Attorney General to decide whether a crime was committed. Barr's summary said Mueller found no evidence that the Trump campaign coordinated with Russia, despite multiple offers from individuals associated with Russia. The release of the summary is likely to ignite a new political fight in Washington as Democrats push for Barr to release the full report, and Trump seizes on the findings as vindication of his near-daily assertion that he was a victim of a witch hunt that has cast a long shadow over his presidency. Trump has always denied collaborating with Moscow or obstructing justice. Russia says it did not interfere in the election, although U.S. intelligence agencies concluded that it did. Barr said the investigation also found insufficient evidence that Trump had attempted to obstruct justice. Many of his opponents accused him of obstructing the Russia probe when he fired former FBI Director James Comey. The Department of Justice announced on Friday that Mueller had ended his investigation after bringing charges against 34 people, including Russian agents and former key allies of Trump, such as his campaign chairman Paul Manafort, former National Security Advisor Mike Flynn, and his personal lawyer Michael Cohen. None of those charges, however, directly related to whether Trump's campaign worked with Moscow